Hey everyone, welcome to Buzzing About Romance, a quick shot of romance. I am Becky, and joining me for this episode is Leah. Hi, Leah.
Hi, Becky.
So on this episode of A Quick Shot of Romance, we are reviewing Until I Get You by Claire Contreras.
Contreras. We don't know how to pronounce this. We
Yeah.
apologize. Well, first off, we're bad with pronunciation of names anyway.
Yeah.
But this one, if you know what this name looks like, you know we didn't have a chance.
Contreras. I don't know.
I don't know.
I apologize. Okay, if you would like the synopsis of this book, it will be linked in our on the shelf show notes at buzzingaboutromance.com. Feel free to hop over there and read the synopsis. Content trigger warnings on this book. This is a dark romance.
It is.
It is a new adult, dark sports romance.
Mm-hmm.
There is on the page violence and essay.
Yeah.
If you are not sure about this book, please reach out to us and we will absolutely provide you with more detailed content and trigger warnings.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is important to us that you protect your mental health. And this book was a very emotional and heavy read.
It was heavy. Very heavy.
Okay, break it down for us, Leah.
Okay, so this book was released April 6th, 2023. And the tropes are hockey, instant connection, obsessive alpha hero. It is a dark romance. There is a stalker. It's not I guess the hero kind of stalks her too, but she has a stalker.
Yeah, and he stalks her.
Well, he does too, but he doesn't stalk her the way the other one does.
That's true.
He's a good stalker.
Okay. Unexpected protector.
Anyway. There is no series name for this, and it is listed as a standalone. It is dual first-person point of view. The put-out percentage is 23% in the audio narrators, which I know you did part of the audiobook.
I did all the audio.
Oh, you did? I knew you did part of it, but I thought you were going back and forth.
Yep. It's Joe Arden and Kesha Kensington.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to state, so this audio is now... So the book itself, the ebook itself, is in Kindle Unlimited.
Yes.
The audiobook is in Hoopla, but it is also over on Kobo Plus. So I actually started listening to it before it showed up in Hoopla over on Kobo Plus because I was doing my 30 days free to kind of see what was over on Kobo Plus. And that's something I'm taking into account is the audiobooks and how quickly, is it in Kobo Plus or is it at the same place at Hoopla? Because my Hoopla is free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to talk about the audio narration of this book. This audiobook is produced by our friends at Lyric Audio.
Yes.
And this audiobook was phenomenal. Smoking phenomenal. I love Joe Arden. But I like Joe Arden in certain audiobooks, and others I'm like, meh, whatever.
Yeah.
I had never listened to a book by Kesha Kensington, and she blew me away. I went looking for more audiobooks with her in them.
I have this audiobook downloaded, but I haven't started it. But I may just listen to it tomorrow.
So this book, like we said, it's a dark romance. It is very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But the way Kesha performs the narrations of our heroine, Lila, you just feel all the moments. And I was reading some other reviews and thinking about my review and my feels on this book. And one of the things that somebody mentioned is they didn't like, at the beginning of the book, the character of Lila is kind of a introvert, closed off, wears all black, big frumpy clothes. The reviewer called it her Wednesday era. And then, so the book's in two parts.
Yeah.
The first part, they're seniors in college getting ready to graduate. our hero Lachlan is off to the NHL, and our
Yes.
heroine Lila is,
She wants to get into sports medicine.
but not staying. She wants to hide. She wants to run away.
Yes. She is leaving the first moment that she can. And it's something that's talked about, but you don't know why.
No, she doesn't open up. She has two very close friends, and I forgot to write their names down. Um, that are helping her move forward. Her mother has passed. Her mother died in a tragic car accident,
Mm-hmm.
and her dad is a famous baseball player turned politician.
But
He
he kind
is,
of checked out.
yeah, he is a so Claire herself is Latinx, and he is like from the Dominican Republic. That's how he's described in the book. And he comes, plays baseball, and ends up being the mayor of the town or the city that they're in. Um, and it's outside Chicago, I take it, I think, basically.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's very involved in the university and the sports program that Claire is going to in her home, or Lila is going to in her hometown. And he's just uninvolved, like not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah,
very self-involved.
he checked out. Like her mom passed away. Like her mom died in the car accident. He kind of checked out. And Lila, like she didn't she's checked out emotionally, but as you find out more of her story, you understand why. Like she is very standoffish. She's very like she wants to hide in the background, and her friends are Prescott and Marissa. I just looked it up.
Okay.
And so they have grown up together and they know exactly what happened, like why she is the way she is, and they understand and they protect her. Like they're ride or dies who will like do what they need to help her. And you see that when like part two starts.
Well, in this first part, they meet by accident at a party. There's a really great scene against the wall between the two of them where she's
Yes.
kind of holding up the wall and he is
And it's
attracted to
his
her,
wall.
and it's
His
his wall.
wall.
He doesn't like parties either.
Yeah.
He goes to him because it's expected. But he himself has a little bit of, well, actually, he has a whole lot of baggage.
Yeah, he does. Like his dad is a shitty dad.
Yeah.
Like they both have daddy issues. Like
Well, his
we'll
dad
just
is
say it.
super wealthy,
Yes.
business billionaire,
Yeah.
owns a corporation, married to his mother. And at first, I really at first thought the mother was the mistress.
I did too, because the way they talk, and you would not think that they were married because they live like they don't live
They
together.
haven't
Like
ever
they
lived
live separate
together.
lives. Like the mom, like the way like he talks, it's like the mom keeps going back and like she's in love with him and like he like pulls the strings and she goes and then he like cuts her loose and like no joke, I thought she was the mistress too.
I did too. I thought for sure it was the second family, and it's not till the second half that you learn theirs was not a marriage of love.
Nope.
And they made some choices and did some things, and now they're trying to make up for it
Yeah.
a little bit.
I will say though, by the end of the book, his dad is not a total tool.
And neither is hers.
Is neither is
The
hers.
last
So
10%.
there is some character growth in those side characters in this one too. But anyway, so part one is them meeting. Lachlan, like he sees her, like, and he decides that she's gonna be his,
Yeah.
like, because he does not do commitment. He will not sleep with the same person twice, and if he does, like, there's never more than 3 times.
And I think it's like 4 or 6 weeks until graduation.
Yeah,
At first, I thought it was 2 weeks, but it's not. It's like 4 or 6 weeks to graduation, and they spend a lot of time cloistered together in the dorm room.
mm-hmm.
And basically, I think they just have sex because he is clueless
Yeah,
as to her plans after graduation. Like she
because they
changes
don't really
this.
talk a lot.
Right. So you think they must just be making out and doing the dirty.
I mean, they talk, but it's one of those things like it's surface stuff. Like my favorite color is, and like it's all the surface. Like anytime he talks about deeper stuff, she changes the subject. Anytime like she And then she tries to get him to talk about deeper things and he changes the subject. So like they both have a hell of lot of baggage. Like and they want to open up, but they're both terrified to open up at the same time. And you get that as you're reading it. But then so something happens.
Well, something happens, and I think it's okay. I don't think we're spoiling it. There is a car accident and an assault,
Yes.
and basically Lachlan's character is in the hospital. Layla's character is in the hospital,
But at different
but at
places,
different
separate
places. They were
hospitals.
taken different places, different hospitals, and Layla takes that moment to check out,
She takes off.
to run away, and she takes her friends. Her friends go with her. They help her set up in this new space. She goes to a university that she's been accepted into their pre-med or to their medical school program because she wants to
Mhm.
go into sports medicine, and she lives her life for 3 years. She's altered her name,
Yes.
and in that 3 years so Lachlan was in a coma. He was fairly beat up from this assault.
Yeah.
And when he comes to, he realizes that she's gone.
Well, Prescott, the male best friend, tells him like she's gone. Will not tell him anything else, tells him nothing. Like he is protecting her and just tells her she's gone. Like that's it.
Yeah. And he has to rehab his body. He goes into the draft. He didn't end up going as high in the draft as he was expected to do. And he goes and plays, and he makes a deal with his dad
Yeah.
that he will play in the NHL for 3 years. At the end of 3 years, he will retire
Mm-hmm.
and come back and run the family business. But in
Yes.
exchange, his dad gives him the money and helps him find Lila.
Well, and the company is like some computer, like
Like an
cyber
IT kind
thing.
of
And so,
security, yeah.
like, and that's part of it. Like, he is able to use the resources of the company to find her now
Yeah.
because he's paid like PIs and nobody's been able to find anything.
And at the
And
opening
so,
of the second act of this book, so this is the only place there's a breakup.
yeah,
There is no third act breakup between the
the
two of
hero and the
them.
heroine. Yeah.
So this is where the breakup happens. Now the next part of the book, so that's about the first third of the book, I would say.
Yeah.
And then the opening part of the second portion of this book is his retirement, last game in retirement from the NHL. And so he's talked about Lila like nonstop. Everybody knows he's looking for her. Every time he goes to a city to play a game, he's looking for her.
Mm-hmm.
His teammates know Lila is his person and he is desperate to find her.
Well, and like that's the thing, like she is his person. Like he is obsessed with finding her. Like he looks for her in every city they are, like with his team, like his teammates know like who she is and what she means to him. Like he has no qualms about any of it. But when you get back to Lachlan and like he's gonna find her and he's not so nice.
Well,
I
no,
mean, he's not a nice person in general. Like he's kind of an asshole to
super
everybody.
asshole.
Like in the beginning, in part one, like he's an asshole to everybody except to Lila, like once they get together. But then he's an asshole to her, like when they first get back,
So
like when he first finds her.
as we're starting portion 2, we see where Lila's been. So she has completed
Yeah.
her medical training or whatever, her sports medicine, maybe it's physiotherapy training type
Yeah, I'm not
versus a
100%
doctor.
sure. Yeah.
And she's teaching and working at a rehab facility that does like sports training, running, strength training,
Well, and
skills.
they do like soccer stuff because she actually was a soccer player who could have went pro, but she quit because of things.
Because of things. And we're not spoiling that for you because it's tied in
It's tied into her
her
baggage.
baggage. But when Lachlan finds her, he goes to this town where she is working and basically confronts her. And yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's spanking and there's
Well, and
edging.
And there's you're gonna marry me and you don't have a choice.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
forced marriage, if we didn't say that in the tropes,
we
this has
didn't say
forced
that.
marriage. Yeah. And so basically she agrees because she feels like she owes him. And
Hmm.
also, while he has been pining and obsessed about her, she really hasn't moved forward with her life because
No.
there's still this entity that has
Well, she's
caused her pain.
well, and she has been pining over him too.
Yeah. So the second half of the book takes place in what, like 4 days?
No, I think it's about a week.
Is it about a week?
I think it's about a week.
So
But I
he,
like, but I, excuse me, I like the way the timeline progresses because you get, there's so much that happens in these, like in the week or so that like at the end, like they find each other. He makes her sign this contract. Like she, he tells her they're going back to their like hometown and she loses it. Like, because, and then basically tells him she will never forgive him. She will never like just she's whatever, like she's done with like her feelings for him because she tells him she can't go back, and he's like, that's too bad because I'm an asshole and this is what you're gonna do.
yeah. Yeah, it was
But when
this.
he finds out what happened, hot damn, he's gonna burn the world to the ground.
So I think that this is my first read by this author,
Same, I
and
have not read
this
her before either.
tension and the emotion in this romance was like a roller coaster.
It
Like,
really
I wanted to
was.
hate Lachlan, and then you got the Joe Arden growl in there.
Well,
Like,
the
you were like attracted to him because of the growl and the way that she like writes him, but then you're like, damn it, he's a dick. Why am I liking it?
Well, but and you do and he like honestly like he is such an ass. But it's one of those things where like when he s- finds out what happened and finds out why she ran and finds out what her hangups with the town are, like I mean he's still an ass to everybody else, but he really like he reverts back to that like the Lachlan that like only she knows. And so I don't mind that he's an asshole because he has enough growth like in his assholery towards her that it doesn't bug me. I mean, yeah, he's a dick to everybody. Like that is not going to change, but like he's definitely softer with her than
And
anybody else.
because of the things that happened in the first half to the breakup in the second half and the 3 years, there
Yeah.
is like enemies to lovers vibes in the beginning,
Yeah.
but it does not feel like hatred.
No.
And it creates this smoldering chemistry that just is an inferno. Like when it ignites, there is like
Oh.
no going back. Like this chemistry is explosive off the page. I'm telling you, the way that this author crafted this story and the performance of these audio narrators made for this almost all consuming romance. And when I started, I could not put this down. And it was audio. So, like, I was listening to it, and my husband came, he's like, oh my, the house is really clean. I'm like, yeah, because I'm listening to an audiobook that I can't stop.
Well, and that's the thing. Like when you're listening to an audiobook that really draws you in, like you are constantly finding stuff to like keep your hands busy so you don't have to stop. Because I personally like I can't sit and listen to an audiobook
No.
and just sit there. Like I have to be doing stuff like when I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, my house would have been really, I have a feeling like my house is gonna be super clean if I listen to it when I'm at home. If I do it at work, like I'll get all my stuff done.
There was enough suspense and mystery in this book, too. So you had this really explosive chemistry. And then there's this underlying suspense mystery piece to this book that created, like, this is the kind of romantic suspense that I want. This
Hmm.
is top tier because you have tension and chemistry and it's believable and it's thoughtful and there's a care given to the characters. And it's not just like, oh, out of left field, someone got kidnapped. Oh, look, we're going to find out who the bad person is. Like, it
Hmm.
was so much more than that. And the
Well, and
detail.
I was very shocked when I heard who the bad person was. I wasn't expecting it, I was expecting something with him, but I was not expecting it to be what it was. Does that make sense?
I kind of, because we are alluded to an ex-boyfriend to something that had happened to him. And there were some other things with like the way that the author describes the father's obsession with his gala and his parties and that he no longer holds them at the house anymore. I I was not shocked, but I like how the author lined it all up with some of the things that are revealed in the
Mm-hmm.
end.
Yeah. See, I wasn't expecting it to be what it was. Like, I was expecting there to be something with who it was because of the way she reacted when she's
Yeah.
like earlier. But yeah, but I honestly, like, even if I had figured it out, I wouldn't have minded because the way that the author constructed this story and these characters was just really intense.
So before we wrap this up, I just want to, because I've had some other reviews and there's some should you read it's where I talk about a book that has flashbacks. Did this bug you that it was written in two parts, that we got this quarter or this third of a book that takes place and then we skip forward 3 years and we got the bulk of the book? Did that bother you as a reader?
No, I really like the choice that she made to do it this way because I feel like if she had written the story with flashbacks, it wouldn't have worked as well. I think this story, there are books where a flashback works exceptionally well, but I think with the way this story is constructed, and I don't think flashbacks would have helped it. I think it would have hindered the storyline.
I think we would have lost the chemistry and the intensity of the
Yeah.
emotions if they had used
Mm-hmm.
flashbacks. So I like that this was told in two parts. I feel like that
Mm-hmm.
was a better story choice and made
Yeah.
for like a more intense reader experience.
Yeah, and because I feel like sometimes I'll come across a book that has flashbacks and it takes me out of the story and then I have a hard time getting back into it. But the way this one is, like, you get the really like emotional, intense like moments like when they first get together, and then we get that flash forward to 3 years, but they're still inherently the same people.
Yeah.
They're just like he's just a lot more angry
Well,
than
and
he
even
was.
though he's kind of the angry guy, he totally is the toucher and die vibes.
Oh,
Because
1000%
like
has
her
toucher and die
boss at the
vibes.
training facility like
Well, and
wants to
like,
know who the guy is on her phone and
oh, well, and like the guy that she coaches with, like when he's like, there's a moment where he's like trying to take her out on a date, and Lachlan like loses his shit.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, this is a must read until I get you. I
Yeah,
highly cannot recommend this book enough.
and it is one of our April emotional
Yeah.
reads because April 2023 is like the month of the emotional like chaos for
Why do all
us.
the good books have to come out in April?
Apparently, we could just do a top reads of April,
We
like
probably could.
top reads of 2023. They're just all
All
April.
April.
Like, just go back to April.
Anyway, Leah, thank you for reading Until I Get You and doing this quick shot of romance with me.
Of course, it's always a good time.
Until next time, everyone.
Happy reading, everybody.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.